All right. Okay. So welcome everyone to my webinar, which is Life is Busy, Managing Your Job Search to Get Results. So what most job seekers think a job search involves: writing a resume and applying to jobs online with the resume that you develop. But the truth is, job searches are often comprised of many steps, stages, actions, and tools. So a resume alone has less chance in a competitive market. So it's like, diversifying your portfolio when investing, and what works for one person may not work for another. So this webinar will focus on what the job search process looks like, the steps and stages involved, and how you can effectively manage your job search by developing a plan and taking action so that you can achieve a meaningful outcome within a reasonable amount of time. Right, okay. So before the presentation, I want to begin with a land acknowledgement specific to our BC campus, which is the one I'm attached to. So we acknowledge that the land Yorkville University operates on in British Columbia is the traditional unceded territories of the coastal peoples of the Quackite and Coequitlam First Nations. And we do this to reaffirm our commitment and responsibility in improving relationships between nations and to improving our own understanding of local indigenous peoples and their cultures. Okay. So here's a bit about me. So my name is Nikta Madhuri, and I'm the career advisor for our BC campus. So I primarily work with BBA students, including BBA online and global. So I do have a Master of Arts degree in Interdisciplinary Graduate Studies, and I completed numerous certificates and training in the field of career development profession. And I have more than 7 years of experience working in employment programs in BC and Alberta, and helping students to explore their career options and to help them to get prepared for the job market. So I'm a certified resume strategist from Career Professionals of Canada, and I'm passionate about helping students to reach their full potential. Okay, so before I start, I would like to know what programs are you part of. So please log in your laptop, cell phone, or tablet by using www.menti.com, and you can see the code number on the screen, which is 1729395. So I can see that I have students who is none of the programs that I listed here, so that's fantastic. So I'm going to give you a couple of seconds. I would really love to hear from you. Okay. All right, let's see. Okay. I'm going to give you probably 2 more seconds. Okay. All right. Anyway, thank you so much for joining, and I really appreciate your time. I'm going to move to the next slide. Oh, I can see that I have a student from acting and film. That's awesome. Yeah. Thank you so much, everyone. All right. Okay. So this is what I will be covering today. So I will discuss why it is important to have a job search plan, while we can simply, go to the job boards and apply for jobs. So I'll also discuss the 6 steps to the job search process. And you will also learn today how to develop a job search action plan based on your unique circumstances. And finally, this webinar will introduce you to some job search tools that you can use in order to be organized in your job search. All right, okay. So first, let's discuss why it is important to develop a job search strategy. And I would like to share my own experience. So after my graduation, I applied for so many jobs by using a generic resume and different job boards, but I did not get any results at all. And by this time, 5 months were passed, and I was still working in my survival job, and I started blaming myself for all of my failures in my life. So obviously, one of the reasons for not getting the result that I was hoping for was I was not organized in my job search and had no idea about the job search steps, stages, and actions that I needed to take in order to get interview calls. So you need a strategy or plan for a job search because you want to make sure the way you are job searching is effective by setting a goal and working towards achieving that goal. Also, you want to make sure that you can track your job search activities. For example, when you applied for a job, what employer you targeted, what is the name of the company, what is the due date to follow up. So all kind of information is really, really important. Again, let me share one of my experiences. So one day I received an interview call when I was job searching. And honestly, I had no idea who called me, what employer I applied for, what jobs I applied for. So obviously, I didn't maintain, a tracking spreadsheet, which I will show you at the, end of my presentation. So also, it's important for you to set up a strategy because you want to, at the end, evaluate your job search strategy to make sure that, okay, this strategy works and it doesn't work. So you can, make changes and adjust accordingly your job search strategy. All right, so before going to talk about the different type of steps to the job search strategy, I'm just curious, what steps do you think are important in the job search process? So there is no right or wrong answers to this question, and this is very much open-ended question. So I would really love to see your input. I mean, by this question, what I'm meaning is that, what are the things that you think important when you job search? Absolutely, resume, cover letter, interviews. Absolutely, you are correct, which I'm going to discuss in today's presentation. Networking, absolutely correct. This is a very, very crucial part in your job search success. Yeah. Anything else? Good resume. Obviously, the resume has to be tailored, right, and targeted to the job posting. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Thank you so much. Yeah, research is a crucial part, which I'm going to discuss in my presentation today. Knowing where to look. Absolutely. Yeah. I really love your feedback, and I feel like all of you already know a lot about job search strategy. Yeah, that's really, really good. Selling my experience. Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you so much, everyone, for your input. Yeah, figuring out what jobs to apply to. Absolutely. Cover letters. I love it. Yeah. Yeah. All these are really important steps to your job search process. Yeah. Thank you again for your participation. All right. Okay. So when you start searching for jobs, it can be very confusing and overwhelming to figure out what kind of jobs or industries to target. And also, without a specific job target, it can be incredibly challenging to develop a targeted resume, build your network, develop an elevator pitch, or engage in many tasks that are crucial to your job search success. So, but good thing is there are strategies and tools in the job search that can help you explore various opportunities that are available to you as a university student or a graduate. A thorough job search approach involves all these steps that I mentioned on this slide, which are assessment and also knowing yourself is the same thing. Obviously, research, preparing documents and developing your job search plan, managing your job search, and monitoring and reflection. So all these steps are really, really crucial to your job search success. And I will be discussing each of the steps in the next few slides. Okay. So the first step in your job search is self-assessment or knowing yourself. So it is all about knowing yourself and exploring things like your personal style, your motivated skills, your interest, and obviously core values. So it is important to understand who you are, how you have changed over time, and where you see yourself in the future. So when you are not sure of, what type of job you want to, or what you want to do next with your degree or career, then a career aptitude test can help you narrow down your job choices and choose a career path that is compatible with your interest, skills, values, and personality. So there are many free informal assessments that you can complete in order to identify your interests, values, skills, and accomplishments. So I have listed some resources on the right-hand side of the slide for you to explore. So I will read it aloud just for you. So all these free resources that I mentioned, again, I would highly recommend you to check those out. So for strength assessment, if you want to find out your strength, then you can actually do the assessment using fiacharacter.org. And if you want to identify or explore your interest and abilities, then I would highly recommend you to check it out, jobbank.gc.ca. And it has different type of useful quizzes that I have done for myself as well. And if you want to identify your work values and your personality style, obviously you can check www.123test.com. And I provided the link so you can copy and paste those links. So for personality test, the Myers-Briggs type indicator is the most well-known authoritative personality test available in the psychology and human resources community, but it is not free. So I highly recommend you to use the free resources that are available to you to explore your values and personalities. So also, if you reach out to your career services, we can help you by providing a skill assessment link to complete a skills assessment activity to identify your skill set. So it is really, really important at the very beginning to go through all this type of assessment, especially to identify your values, your interests, your personality type, and what are the career actually will match with your personality type and interest and skills. All right. Okay. So the next step is research. So research is a crucial part of your job search success, and most students overlook this important step. So imagine if you want to buy a shirt, or you want to buy a phone, or even at personal level, if you want to choose a romantic partner, you do a lot of research, right? I think I'm correct. So you read customer reviews to buy a product, or in order to make friendship with someone, you want to make sure whether that person actually aligns with your personality and aligns with your values. So similarly, it is very, very important to do a thorough research and to do labor market research. And the labor market information can help you to what opportunities exist within your community and beyond. So if you wonder what actually is a labor market, so briefly, labor market refers to a job market where there is a demand for particular type of product and service, and also there are suppliers to fill out that demand and that demand. And in the labor market, both the employers and the employees, they are dependent on each other. So how the labor market information can help you? So obviously the first thing is the labor market research can help you discover the demand for a particular industry and occupation. For example, say if you are in energy management, I'm just giving you an example. So after doing a research, you can find out that, okay, this is an occupation that is in demand in BC and in overall Canada. So obviously this information is important for you. And say also, the labor market research can help you to identify the skills and training required, right? You need to understand, okay, before targeting any occupation and job, like what are the technical skills that I'm supposed to have, or what are the transferable skills, like it can be both the soft skills, it can be also hard skills or technical skills that I'm supposed to have. Also, the labor market information can help you to explore recent industry trends. So it is really important to know what is happening in the industry that I am targeting. I mean, is there any company got a big project by the government? So all kind of information you can learn through labor market research, obviously following the company or industry news and publications. Also, the labor market information and research can help you to identify potential employers and people to network and connect. So it is really, really important to target, all the employers. It can be the big employers or the mid-sized employers, also the startups. So when you do the research and make a list of employers, please keep in mind that you need to combine all these type of employers in your list. And also the labor market information can help you to learn about the average salary for the occupation you are exploring. Obviously, you invested so much in your education, right? Your time is also valuable. So you want to make sure that the industry that you are pursuing, it has a decent salary or living wage, right? So you want to do a lot of research about the wage or salary to a particular industry, which I'm going to talk also more. And also the labor market information can help you to explore what a day in the life looks like. So for example, what are the duties and responsibilities that you are supposed to perform? So you don't want to wonder, after starting a job that, okay, this is something you absolutely don't enjoy. So let me share another example. So I actually approved a big training package for one of my clients. And eventually the client completed the training and started working as a healthcare aide. But after working for a couple of weeks, my client realized that this is not the right occupation for her, because it requires a lot of bending, a lot of, standing on your feet, and which absolutely was not really comfortable with like her current, that time health condition. So that's why it is important to know what are the duties I'm supposed to perform before, targeting any occupation. Okay. So there are many resources and tools available to assist you in your labor market research, such as national occupational classification systems, job pack trend analysis, informational interviews, and obviously LinkedIn. So in addition, when you do, job search, it is important to identify a list of target companies for your job search that I just mentioned. So if you are not sure how to find companies, obviously you can just Google search, right, generally. But also I found a couple of databases that can be helpful for you in order to get started. For example, the first one is Canada's top 100 employers, LinkedIn Fortune 500 companies, best places to work 2022, and the career directory for new grads. So I do have web link. So if you can reach out to me, I can share all the web links with you. But also generally, if you just, search in the Google by using the keyword that I mentioned, the web links are really available. And I also found that, by doing a lot of research online. All right. So one of the important things in your research phase is key people to know, right? So I think one of the participants already mentioned that. So one of the common themes that I have seen after talking to many students with no job offer, after university, is that they applied mainly online and didn't build or use any network. So now, you might not have a big network, but that is completely okay. When I graduated, I had done almost zero networks, I will be honest with you, and felt totally unprepared to a job search. But now you know that how to find people, right? That because I'm going to share that in my webinar. So first of all, you need to decide what types of people you can network that will be useful for you, right? And in order to start, first of all, you can be connected with friends or classmates from your school. Also your school alumni. So that's a really, really important resource, important people to connect with. And actually Yorkville has a Facebook page for our alumni. And my wonderful colleague Emma actually runs that Facebook page, and she posts on regular basis different type of job opportunities, networking events, and a lot of resources. So please make sure that you can join our Facebook alumni page. And I believe one of my colleagues is gonna put the link in the chat as well. All right. So it is important to connect with your family members, including your extended family members of good friends, and also like former college professors, academic advisors, your career advisors. So make sure to take advantage of your connection with your professors, because they might know people who are working in the industry, and they can definitely connect you with the people. Former managers, bosses from any internships, any practicums, or even the part-time jobs that you have done. So this is just some general ideas to get started with connecting with people. All right. Okay. So the next step in your job search process is preparing work search documents, such as developing an elevator pitch, developing a powerful and tailored resume and cover letter, and Also like creating your LinkedIn profiles and prepare for your job interviews. So you need to get all these documents ready before you start your job search. So I'm going to talk about very briefly about all these points that I just mentioned. The first one is elevator pitch. So an elevator pitch, also known as an elevator speech. So it basically is a quick synopsis of your background and experience. And the reason it's called an elevator pitch is that it should be short enough to present during a brief elevator ride. So you have to be able to deliver, and convince in that short amount of time, which is called the 30 seconds elevator pitch. And it can be for anything. It can be, finding a new job, going to even a networking event, and also even starting a, sales relationship. So an example of an elevator pitch can be, I'm someone with X, Y, and Z skills, and I'm ready to make an impact with my next position. And because of my experience with A, B, and C, I'm excited to see my future career direction and look forward to connecting with others in the industry. So if you are not sure how to develop your elevator pitch, please reach out to your career advisors. And we can actually help you and walk you through the process. Okay, so resume and cover letter. So your resume is a powerful marketing tool and always addresses the employer's question, why should I hire you instead of other candidates? So this is the reason your resume and cover letter should also focus on employers' requirements by highlighting your relevant skills, education, training, and experience. Remember that resume is not only the one element in your job search. There are other equally important elements in your job search. For example, creating an effective and top-notch LinkedIn profile and networking for your job search. So as I mentioned about LinkedIn, so LinkedIn is a non-negotiable social network when it comes to your job search. So LinkedIn is so much more than a social media network or a place to house your online resume. So you need to create a top-notch LinkedIn profile and use the LinkedIn platform in order to build a connection with employers and people in your industry. So I would also recommend you to create your portfolios to share with your work with the rest of the world. So you can include anything positive to your portfolio, including your certificates. It can be any awards or bursaries that you have received in order to maintain or achieve your high GPA. Samples of your school projects, that is really excellent stuff that you can put in your portfolios. And also writing samples, any accomplishments in school. So some of the platforms that you can use for creating your portfolio can be like GitHub, Behance, and CarbonMed, etc. All right. So interview preparation, this is also important to do, to take proper preparation for your interview. So when you take preparation for your interview, you need to practice all general questions and also industry specific questions. So I always refer my students to LinkedIn. So if you go to LinkedIn, you will find a lot of industry specific questions related to, say, project manager roles or administrative assistant roles or accounting roles. So you can review all those questions and get prepared for your interview. So, and one of the important thing is like when you take your interview preparation, make sure that you invest some time in salary research that I just mentioned, right? So there are a couple of places you can do the salary research. One of the places is Job Bank Trend Analysis. So it has the salary comparison, for example, say Lower Mainland in Vancouver to overall in Canada. And you can get information based on your city, just you need to put the city that you want to know. Also, PayScale and Glassdoor are good places to do a lot of salary research. All right. So now, once you complete all the steps that I explained, it is time to develop a job search action plan to make you organized and effective in your job search. When you develop a job search plan, you need to ask these questions, which are the foundations of your job search plan. For example, what are my long-term and short-term career goals, right? So for example, your short-term career goal can be, if you are in accounting, is that, okay, you want to work as a bookkeeper or accounting clerk, but your long-term goal can be to be an accountant. So what are my strengths and weaknesses? This is very, very important question that you can ask. And I will be talking about this particular question a little bit detailed in the next 2 slides. So what actions do I need to take to overcome my weaknesses, and what resources are available to me? So once you set up your goal, you can write out down the actions steps. Okay, this is the steps I have to take, which I'm going to actually discuss in next slide. What are the action steps to achieve my employment goal? What deadlines should I assign to the action steps? This is really, really important, that you have to set up a deadline. So for example, you have your goal, you have all action steps, but there is no deadline. So it means that you are not accountable to yourself, right? To accomplish that job within a deadline. So you should take it as like your exam, right? I will explain that in next slide. What potential obstacles might I face? What can I do to overcome those obstacles, which I'm going to discuss also, and what support systems are available to me? So all these questions are really important. So when you develop your action plan, and even say if you are, if you want to develop an action plan for yourself right now, you can also do that. But make sure that you go through all these questions. All right. So here is the fun part. So here I included a sample job search action plan that you can develop for yourself. So if you pay attention, you can see that here at first, my job search goal. So this candidate identified the job search goal is find a startup company that is mission driven and allows for flexibility and new ideas to be brought to the table by all team members. So you see that candidate identified the nature of the company that I discussed, which is the startup company, and also identified the values and preferences, which can be, mission driven, which allows the flexibility. So again, it is important to find out the companies that actually goes, or that aligns with your values and interest. And then the candidate explained the action steps. So you can see that there are 3 action steps the candidate mentioned here. The first one is identify a job search buddy from my career assist group to have weekly accountability check-in with. So similarly, you can actually find out the first action step. Again, it really depends on your goal, right? And the second action step the candidate mentioned here, set up informational interviews with 3 connections in early stage startups to learn about company culture and types of roles. As I mentioned that in your labor market research part, you need to do also informational interview. So here that person wrote down the second action plan is networking, building connection with industry people. And the third action plan, on this sample, it still shows 2. I think it's a typo, but it should be 3. Redo my LinkedIn profile to better tell my career story in relation to my job search target to work for a mission-driven startup. So you see that the third action step is basically creating a top-notch LinkedIn profile and using the LinkedIn. So similarly, once you identify your job search goal, you can identify all the steps and make sure that you set up a deadline. You see that the candidate set up a deadline. So again, I know the weather is nice. It's really, everybody wants to go to beach and enjoy the sunshine and forget about their job search deadlines. Please don't do that. You need to set up a deadline and you need to be accountable to yourself that, okay, I will complete this task within this deadline. Okay. So another important thing actually you need to pay attention is the potential obstacles. So this candidate mentioned that network is limited and may be hard to identify people to connect within a startup world. Need to find someone in my group in a similar stage of their job search to bounce ideas off of. So you can see that when you develop your job search action plan, you need to identify your potential obstacles. That obstacles can be, okay, I have limited networking, or the obstacles can be, okay, I don't know any employers. So it really depends on you. And then you need to figure out, okay, what support I need in order to actually overcome that potential obstacles. For example, here the candidate mentioned, need help growing my network and connecting with group members directly. So once you identify all this stuff, then you will see that your job search will be way more smoother, because you have a clear vision, what you want to do, where you want to go, right? And when you develop your action plan, make sure that you set up a SMART goal. So SMART is, so it stands for specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and timely. All right, okay. So the next step is managing your job search like a project by setting weekly goals and deadlines and holding yourself accountable for spending time for a job search. So I would recommend you to set up a weekly goals that are able to, that you are able to manage based on your circumstances. For example, say, I'll apply for 15 jobs per week, or I'll apply for 10 jobs per week, and also make sure set up a time. Okay, you will pick a quiet time that will work for you. For example, for myself, when I do anything, I always pick up at night time, because my son goes to bed. It is more quiet time for me to stay focused. Okay, and when it comes to spending time strategically for your job search, you need to spend 20% of your time in applying online and offline, while you need to spend 80% of your time in networking and in building connections with people, employers, and recruiters. Okay, so the last step in your job search process is monitoring and reflection. So it is important to take a step back during your job search and do some analysis and assessment. And in that case, the SWOT can be an ideal model to use. So a SWOT analysis is used to help organizations develop a deeper awareness of all the factors involved in making their business decision. So using the SWOT analysis structure can help you evaluate how you are perceived in the job market and make adjustments so you are more competitive. And I will explain the SWOT analysis in the next slide. Okay, so the S stands for strengths. So your strengths differentiate you. So these can be your hard and soft skills, knowledge, or other aspects that allow you to stand out in the competitive job market. So these are the questions you can ask to identify your strengths, like what do others see as my strengths, right? What types of tasks, do I do well? What sets you apart? So all these questions are really important for you to ask. And in the SWOT analysis, the W stands for weaknesses. So do you have areas of weakness, or are there any other aspects of your qualifications that you have doubts about? So what you can improve? Where do you have fewer resources than others? And what might others see as your weakness? So all these questions are really important to identify your weaknesses. So once you identify your weaknesses, then you can also make a plan, okay, what I can do about it in order to minimize that weaknesses and stand out in the job market. All right. And in the SWOT analysis, the O stands for opportunities. So are there opportunities can you take advantage of? What trends are working in your favor or can you take advantage of? Are there other ways you can turn your strengths into opportunities? So I would like to mention is that when you do your research, you can find out, okay, what opportunities you can take advantage of. For example, the industry that I am choosing, it is in demand or it has potential growth. Obviously, that will be an opportunity for you to grab, right? And also, nowadays, I mean, it is so important for, I will say, most of the companies to include, diversity and inclusion. So, for example, if you are job seeker who actually is a member of diversity groups, that can be something that you can take advantage of. But obviously, you have to make sure that you identify those companies that basically hire people from diverse groups. So that can be your opportunity for sure. And the T stands for your threats. So evaluate threats by asking these questions. For example, what trends could harm you? Is it some automation or artificial intelligence can affect the industry that or job that I'm targeting? That is a good thing that you need to ask yourself as well. What does your competition look like? So like, for example, other job seeking candidates looking for similar work. And what are they doing? How will your weaknesses threaten you? So obviously, you will see that some job seekers probably they will spend less time during the summertime in job search. But on the other hand, if you take advantage of that, then obviously that is something can be your opportunity as well and minimize your threat. So I included the source. So make sure that you will link, you will click the link and get more information about the SWOT analysis. But that can be really something important model in order to assess your strengths and weaknesses. All right. So it is important that you will evaluate your job search strategies and take time to figure out why you are not getting the result that you are expecting. So job search is a process, so you need to constantly make changes to this process based on the outcome. So you should always give yourself, credits for small achievements, which will motivate you to keep going. For example, even though if you are not getting any interviews this week, but if you are able to connect with people, please make sure that you give yourself, you give enough credit, for this achievement. All right. So before going to talk about what tools that you can use, I am just wondering, what do you think? What tools can you use in your job search? So I would love to hear your feedback. Please log in using menti.com and respond to this question. All of the above, I can see that yes, that's absolutely correct. I saw responses. Yes. Yeah, I'm going to give you probably 2-3 more seconds. Yes, I can see. Yes, you are correct, right? These are the all tools: job search tracking, a spreadsheet, hiring manager contact list, tools for finding email addresses that can be really, really useful tools for you in the job search. Thank you so much for your participation. I really, really love your response. So I'm going to talk about all those things in a moment right now. All right. So the first one is the job search tracking spreadsheet. So this spreadsheet can be really helpful in order to track your activities. That will help you to track all of the jobs that you applied for, or you get interviews or job application that you need to follow up with to see if the hiring decision has been made or not. So here I have included a sample. So I created this template for my students. I use the Excel spreadsheet. So you can create your own template, or you can follow this template, or you can email me, I can send you the template. So it is very, very easy, but it is super, super effective when you job search, because if you get an interview call, you can go back to this tracking sheet and find out when you applied, what is the name of the company, and you can do research about it. Okay, so make sure that you include this tracking spreadsheet in your job search. All right. So the next one is hiring manager contact list, which will help you to create a database of all of your contacts at one place. So this one I actually found out from careercruising.com, but you can make a simple hiring manager contact list by using Word. So that will help you to again to organize all of the names, like who you contacted, what company that manager works for, what date you contacted, when is the follow-up due, and who referred you. So that is really important. And next step. So make sure that you also track your networking and hiring manager contact using this type of similar list. All right. So these job search tools are related to tracking, but are slightly different. In order to keep your all information organized, you can use these tools such as, you can see that Evernote, Trello, and OneNote. The other day I spoke to one of my students, and he mentioned that he usually used Trello in order to organize all of the job search, information. And even I know some students use Trello even for their school purposes as well. So make sure that you check out those things. And one of the things I should tell you is that before subscribing or before paying any money to any tool, make sure you use the free version and to see whether that will actually work for you or not. Okay. So this is another important job search tools that I used rigorously when I was looking for work, which was the email finding tools, right? So you want to make sure that you collect the right email, and also you want to make sure that the email you sent that actually got opened by the hiring managers or the person you meant to. So there are a couple of tools you can use, which is Mailscope, Hunter.io, and Mailtrack.io. So personally, I used Hunter.io. So I would recommend you to check all these email finding tools that can be really, really handy when you want to find out the contact information of people who you want to network with. All right, so the other important job search tools are grammar checking and editing software. So these job search tools can be really helpful for those who actually speak English as their second language like me. So these are the two tools I used all the time. Even when I send an email, when I write a blog, when I even make the presentation, I also check the the pro writing aid. So Grammarly, I think many students are very familiar with that. But I also found pro writing aid. Pro writing aid has comprehensive feature than Grammarly. It doesn't only check the grammar, it also tells you the writing style and all other features. So pro writing aid has also a paid version. I would recommend you to use only free version. That should be fair enough because I also use the free version. All right. So for those who are now super motivated, excited, and want to start your job search activities right away after my webinar, but is still not sure how to actually start. And if you think that, okay, whatever Sneekta talked about, that's gonna take the whole day, it's not. So that's why I actually included here some daily job search activities that you can do within 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and 30 minutes. So I got this resource from LinkedIn, and I got it from Jessica Hernandez. She's a job search expert. So the 5 minutes activities can be like 3 posts on LinkedIn, check a recruiter's Twitter feed, send a thank you email, comment on a Facebook post, send a connection request on LinkedIn. And the 10 minutes activities can be something like email a network contact, write a LinkedIn status update, research a target company, introduce yourself to someone, find an employee from a target company on LinkedIn. And if you plan to spend like 30 minutes every day for your job search, so here are some ideas. Write a LinkedIn blog, comment on 5 people's posts, write a networking email, follow up with a networking contact, and follow up on an application. So I know that this screenshot is not very clear, but I provided the link here. Please make sure go to the link and check it out. I find this is really, really handy. Okay, all right. So here is the managing your job search to get results recap. So basically whatever I covered here. So I borrowed this recap from LinkedIn, from the resume strategist Adrian Tom. So the summary is: at first, nail down a clear job target, research companies and people, contact decision makers, create and maintain a branded LinkedIn profile, constantly network, engage online and offline, conduct salary research, and properly prepare for interviews. All right, so I'm almost end of my presentation. So I just would like to mention you that our career services has a website which we call career portal, which is careerservices.myu.ca. Please check this website. It has ton of resources for you in your job search process, and that will be really helpful. And also the Career Services has our awesome job board. It is so vibrant right now. We have a lot of job postings. Our business relations specialist, Andrew, has a connection with a lot of employers. So we get a lot of job postings, and most of the cases we know the employers. So make sure to check out our job board, which is careerservices.myu.ca/job board. All right, so that brings to an end of my webinar. I really appreciate your participation. So make sure to contact us. So career services at yorkvilleu.ca. And also if you are in Toronto Film School, you can also email careerservices@torontofilmschool.ca, and make sure to check out our career portal again. Thank you so much for your valuable time. Now I'm ready to take any questions that you have, and I'm going to stop sharing my screen.
Thank you so much, Snigdha. That was a wonderful webinar. I'm sure we all learned lots. I know I did. So now I know there was a lot of questions here in the chat. So I'm gonna just go through them. Just give me 1 second, and we're going to make sure that we cover at least the majority of the questions here. All right, so the first one is, I always feel fake when I try to use my elevator pitch. How can I make it sound more spontaneous and natural?
Yeah, that's really good question. So again, when I create my elevator pitch, there are a couple of things, or I will say there is a formula that I follow. So the pattern can be what I'm doing now. It can be that I'm a student, or I'm searching for job, and what are the 3 things that I feel proud of, right? Or you are well known for, and then where you want to see yourself, or what is the purpose. So this is the formula I follow. But again, I would highly recommend you to reach out to your career advisors, and I can help you to guide you through the process. And even I can check, and I can even practice the elevator pitch with you. I already provided an example in my presentation, and I know that I actually reviewed it, or I talked it very quickly, but our presentation will be available on our YouTube channel, YU YouTube channel. So you can go back, you can watch, and reach out to us, please. Yeah.
Awesome, thank you. And another great question is, I know you talked a lot about informational interviews, but somebody asked, other than LinkedIn, where can I set up informational interviews?
Okay, so obviously LinkedIn is one of the powerful platform you can use, right?
Yeah.
You set up your informational interview, by joining any professional associations, because you will meet people. Of course, you can attend job fair, career fair, and you can meet people, and also you can reach out to them in order to set up your informational interview. You can join any networking events in Eventbrite or Meetup. So personally, I always check Eventbrite to get more information about upcoming job fair for my students. And Meetup has different type of groups, including, job seekers group, right? So you can connect with them, and you can connect with people through that platforms. And later on, you can approach for informational interviews. And obviously, you can reach out to your professors. Again, I mentioned they have a lot of connections with industry people. You can reach out to your career advisors, which we have a lot of connections. You can reach out to your alumni. I would highly recommend you to reach out to your alumni for informational interview, because you have a common ground, and it is very likely that they will feel some sort of connection to you, and they will provide you some time as well.
Very, very good. Thank you very much. Now, I want to ask, there's another question here that I know as an employability coach, and I'm sure career advisors get the same question, is how long does it take on average to find a good job, or I guess a job in general?
That totally depends on you, I'll say. So one of my students got a job within 3 weeks of work with me, right? It really depends on how proactive you are. whether your application materials are ready or almost ready, and also whether you follow through all the advice that we give you. So many students think that, the advice we give you just to give you, that's all. They just hear it and they forget about it. So I can guarantee you the job search strategy that I shared with you, if you follow that strategy, then it's very likely that you are going to get at least some interview calls. So I will say on an average, it takes from 3 to 6 months, up to 6 months, that extreme case I will say, to get a professional job. But again, it totally depends on you.
Okay. And then I guess this is just it kind of goes hand in hand, but I keep applying online, but not getting results. Is there any advice on how to change my job search routine?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it happened to me that I applied online right after my graduation. Nobody called me for an interview. So I already covered all of the things that what you can do, but I can repeat a couple of things. Obviously, the first thing you can do is that make sure to identify the companies you want to work and the key people to connect. This is the two things I would ask. And once you make a list of company, for example, for my case, I made a list of all the nonprofit sectors in Lower Mainland based on the geographical location that I want to work with. And then I did a lot of informational interview with the people in those companies. And the first interview call that I got that happened through the informational interview, and the first professional job I got that happened through the informational interview. And before even going to the interview, I knew who are in the interview panel because I did a lot of networking, a lot of connection. So if you just rely on only applying online, it's very likely that you are not gonna get results quickly. So the best way is that follow all the things that I shared with you. And again, in a job search, there are a lot of things that you have to pay attention. It's not only your resume and cover letter. So even when you send an email to a, say, recruiter or people, you have to pay attention to the language in the networking email, right? What you are saying. You have to pay attention the subject line, what you are saying. So there are a lot of things that involve in job search process. So that's why actually we did this webinar. This is the reason. So please reach out to us. We can evaluate your particular case and we can guide you through the process, like what is actually missing in that job search process.
Oh, I unmute myself, sorry. Thank you very much. So I think we have a couple of more questions. I know we have a little bit more time. But somebody asked, how about volunteering? Will this help me find a job, and how?
Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. Volunteering is a great way not only to develop your skills, because it's also a great way to connect with people, right? And in Canada, as I mentioned that I studied here, I had no idea about job search method. And in Canada, volunteering is considered very seriously, and volunteering is considered like your job. Okay, so if you volunteer, first of all, you will be able to connect with people. And secondly, you can put your volunteering experience, like your actual job experience, in your resume and cover letter. And you can talk a lot of your experience in an interview from your volunteering experience. So when I was looking for work, I volunteered 6 days, six days. Okay, not 1 or 2 days, 6 days a week. I volunteered with all of the major nonprofit organizations in the Lower Mainland. And this is the reason actually I landed my first job, because I knew the hiring managers. So I know you have to work in order to pay your bills. So I won't recommend you to volunteer for 6 days, obviously not. But if you commit to like couple of hours, like 5-6 hours, or even 2-3 hours, then you should do that. And if you are not sure where to get the volunteering resources, my awesome colleague Emma has an awesome blog post in our YU career portal. She included all of the links, but the one I always use, or couple of ones, one is volunteerconnector.org, and also the AMSA, in order to get volunteering opportunities in nonprofit sectors. And please check out Emma's blog. It has everything that you need.
Perfect. Thank you. Okay, so before, I think that is all the questions. Okay, so thank you so much. Thank you very much, Snigdha. I'm sure it was very great. So much engagement. You did an awesome job. So our next webinar is actually going to be hosted by me, and the topic is going to be job searching, specifically for international students. And that is going to be held on August 30th at 1 p.m. Eastern time, which I believe is 10 a.m. Pacific, right? Yes, okay, awesome. So I'm gonna put that in the chat right there. So if anyone who's interested, you can go ahead and register for that webinar. And again, as Snigdha mentioned, please do reach out to all of our wonderful career advisors, employment coach, and alumni, and they'll be able to support you along your job searching journey. And we want to be there for you and celebrate your great success in finding employment. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, everyone, for joining this session. I really appreciate your time. Have a great day. Bye, and happy job search. Bye.
Bye.